Dave here. How are you? I see that the video is coming through and I'm hoping the sound is coming through, and I've even tried my best to raise the sound up a little bit. So I'm hoping it's all going to work. AV, all good. Thank you, Peter. And hello to everyone who's saying hi to me from all around the world. What a fantastic thing the internet is when used wearing safety precautions. Anyway, today is the 7th of November 2021. We're going to continue on with the plane till build that we started last week. Today I'm going to focus on building the carcass that's going to go around it so I can mount the thing up on the wall. Now, you saw a little preview if you watched the trailer before, as you were coming into the show. What I'm going to do is run a little bit of video that my patrons have seen during the week, and well, those that could be bothered clicking the button, and it will go through the things that I've done while getting from where we were up to where we are now. And I'm going to have a quick look down here, see if I can find it. So this is a quick video. As I say, the sound level might be a little bit different, so you might have to change it. It runs for a couple of minutes. What's happening at the moment is I'm doing an air pass. The CNC is tracking where it's going to go. I've set 0 around about 30 or 40 millimeters above the job. But what it's doing is I'm ensuring that none of the clamps are in the way. The machine is going to travel freely. I've actually set the bottom right corner as the reference point, and everything here along the y-axis is positive, along the x-axis is actually negative. The spindle's not turned on. This is a safe way just to check. So there we go. It's been a great project. I've really enjoyed doing this, you know, cutting those little pieces in. It's very rewarding, very satisfying. Now, we're going to work, as I say, on the frame, and it's got a 15-degree lean. So the back will be like so, and have a French cleat system on the back, and it will come down the front, so the planes will drop in. Remember last week I said I held one of the planes up on its end, and then I started tipping it backwards until I felt it starting to want to fall backwards. And it was this tip point. It was around the 15-degree mark. Now, to do that, to get the 15 degrees, I found the easiest way for me to do it was to use the triangle. Now, there's protractors out there, and you can use one of those. That's fine. Go for it. But I have this, so I thought, let's not let it sit in a cupboard. Let's use the thing. So I'll go up above and you can have a quick look from there. So we'll go to Carl Cam. Let's go to the close-up. No, we'll go to the ordinary one. Here we go. I'm waffling again. So I've got it here. Now, the whole thing about this bench is everything is parallel to the front here. All of these dog holes are in a regular 96mm center to center pattern at perfect 90 degrees to each other. They are all parallel to this front here. So it was a very easy thing to get the triangle, drop it in, pop it down there, that's it, and then quickly nip these up. These things are brilliant. And then spin this around to 15 degrees neat, which is right there. Do the last little nip. Then, and I'll go to the front camera again. The board that I used is one of these boards that you pick up from the local big box store. This one is radiata pine because the inserts, the dividers for the planes are going to also be radiata pine, well, as you can see in the videos I showed you. And it was just a matter of push it up against there and slide it along. We'll go to overhead again, why not? There. And you can see the board is at 15 degrees to the front. Holding onto the board. This thing here is a pencil. Simple matter of underneath. I'll come back. Pencil underneath and just run along the front of the bench. Turn the board up the other way and I've got a 15-degree mark which I can measure forwards or backwards from that line to work out the sizes that I was after. Now I managed to get all of that frame out of one board. How I did that was I wanted to have at least 100mm on the top end of where this frame is going to be hanging from because the dovetails up there are going to be doing the mechanical strength. The tails are going to be, I'm not being rude, the tails are going up like that and the pins are coming in from the side. So it can't pull the wedge down through the pin. It just can't happen. It's a mechanical bond. That's the great thing about dovetails. So I've worked out my 100. I've got my, I found the center of the board and drew a line right down the middle. And then I worked my 15 degrees and it told me how wide it was going to be at the bottom here. And then I had a look and I thought, right, the width there above this point, and it might be a little bit hard to follow what I'm saying, but you know, we'll get there, was basically 100 and the depth there was 250. So 250 down, another 100, 350, and then 250 gave me my 600 overall. And then I took a little bit back to allow for the kerf of the blades. The other thing you need to do is when I was cutting it all out, I ran it through over the jointer to get the edge dead straight to start, ripped it again with the table saw so it's all perfectly in line, cut my 250, jointer again. These two parts that were going to be the kind of the triangular sections on the ends, they also had to have dead flat bottoms and be square, both ends. So I did all that. And now we're going to move over and start doing the actual dovetails. I'm getting my earmuffs, eye muffs, straight away. So what did you think of that? That was a really, really quick way of getting 15 degrees on a board using the bench. I can set this up at any position I want. Also, if you, this is a quick little ad for me. If you want one of my benches, you better get your name into me quickly before Christmas because I have a lot of orders and I'm happy to do them. So if you can send me an email, that's all you have to do, or go on to my website, stantonbench.com.au. All right, we're going to go down to the other camera. I'll do a quick read here. Hello from Christchurch. Cole's talking about having a power failure during his show. That'd be terrible. Actually, this week was pretty useful, Cole. You only lost 10 minutes. Might encourage him to speed his show up a little bit so he's not dallying. I'm a cheeky bugger, aren't I, Cole? All right, let's go to the other camera. I think it'll be this one. Sure is. Okay, I'll spin my monitor around as well so I make sure I know what's going on here. And I'll also spin the chat around so I can see what's going on. There we go. Everything's working. Mark, how are you? All right, for those not familiar with this, this is the Gifkins dovetail jig. It's a lovely jig, and Cole, who is watching, owns them, owns the business, and there will be links in the Show More area below the video if you want to get one. There's no affiliation between me and Cole. Cole came down on the show once, demonstrated the jig. I fell in love with the thing, and I've got this and the main frame, and there's a few different templates that can screw onto the bottom of the main frame. All right, I'll be using the first side I'm going to do is the dovetails. Now, if you get confused at all, and I'll tell you what, David does get confused an awful lot if you watch previous shows. Make sure you keep the cutters in the right containers. Now, this is the dovetail cutter, and it even says on the bottom, it says Gifkins dovetail bit 8 degrees. The straight cutter, keep it in the straight cutter pack. Because if you don't use the jig for a few months, you come back to it and you go, which one is the dovetail? So the easy way to remember that, also dovetails. See this down here, from there to there. If I turn it that way around, tapers back, and it looks like a dovetail, a tail on a dove. So straight away, dovetails are those, and you use the dovetail cutter. All right. This week's wooden spoon, what's that for? I don't know. All right. Stirrer, I'm guessing. I'm guessing that's what it's for. Now, I need to put the dovetail cutter in. I've already got started on this. And here's another quick suggestion. Put them in with the pointy end in first. Why? Exactly the same reason I did it for all my drill bits. Then I'm not reaching in to grab a hold of the cutter itself. I'm grabbing hold of the shank. I'm going to pop it in the router cutter. I'm going to put it in my router table. My router table is disabled until I put this magic yellow thing in there. All right. I'm going to tighten it up until it's finger tight. Then put a spanner in and then push down. Other side with the spanner, David. That side, push down. Other spanner. Good. Got it. Nice and tight. Now, when I'm using the dovetail jig, it's nice and large. It's going to straddle the hole here so I don't put any inserts. Going to lower it down to about there. Now, I do have an offcut from the end of the piece that I'll be using. Put these down here. I'm going to be putting the dovetails on the short pieces. Okay, I've already started off, and I'll show you what I've done. So you'll see I've got A and D, and there is a face mark leading to an edge. Now, I'm always going to have this face mark referencing. So when I did this one, if there was any gap here at all between this and that side, or this and this side, I would be pushing up against the cutter that's on, I'll be pushing up the stop that's on the edge where my face mark is. So I've done that one yesterday. I'm going to do the other side today. And this is why also it's a good idea to have your timber parallel so that it's still going to work, all right? The clamps are going to go in. I'll come around there in a second and check that they're in the right spot. If you hang it over the edge of a table, then the lever part of the clamp isn't going to get in the way. I'll show you what I mean. This bit here is coming down, well, come around behind there. This bit here is coming down below the surface of the table. So I'm going to come it back to there and then pull it up tight. Now the next thing to do is have a look down here and make sure that it's pushed down hard all the way across the jig. This is where I'm going to use my little spacer, which is exactly the same thickness as this. And I'll put that on there, bring it up to the cutter. And I want to make sure that the dovetail, the end of the cutter, is just above this by about 0.5 millimeter. So I'm going to lower it down. That's looking pretty good there. Take this out, I can lock it. Done. All right, now I can start cutting. Let me see if we've got any comments here. Reading. Good morning this week. Hello from Perth. Gay Len, how are you? Yes, I am giving Cole a bit of a hard time. Dave, what's your new router? Terence, this is the, I made comment last week that I used to have, I've still got it as a matter of fact, the previous router lift from Carvertech, and I wasn't overly impressed with it because I was trying to use my old Makita in it. I ended up putting the Triton in it, and it was a bit of a waste of time putting the Triton in it because the Triton already has its own lift. But my old Makita didn't have soft start. And it used to go, and I used to panic all the time. And I had heard people say that they weren't all that happy with it. So rather than use a machine that had a savage start, I bought their latest one, and I did buy it. And this is a barrel style router that goes into this lift, and it clamps around the body of the router, much better than other things that are available. It's still got the same chain lift mechanism, all that kind of stuff is there. It's a soft start. The air from it, for it to breathe or to keep it cool, the cooling fan in the router blows up towards you, but it doesn't blow in your face. There's a diffuser at the top that looks like a turbine that spreads the air straight out sideways. And you'll see how efficient it is at actually working. You know, it doesn't blow anything in my face. It's clearing it all the time. Goes to the bottom of the cabinet. There's also another dust port here that's pulling. So it depends on how I aim this, whether I aim it there, whether all the dust is going to go there or not. We'll see. But anyway, this is really, really nice. I like this one. I don't know if I've got a link in the description box below, but have a look. Morning, Dave. Love your show. Learned a lot. Have you, David? Excellent. Thanks for watching. All right, now I've got it all there. This is the little thing for mine. You know, it's a little disabler, mechanical disabler. There's going to be a little bit of noise. Again, I've got to wear eye muffs because I'm actually in here. You guys, doesn't matter so much. I'm just going to do a quick check. I've got face going to the side that I'm pushing up against. Sorry, the face and edge mark is going to the side that I'm pushing up against, which is over there. And I've got the right height. Everything's good. Let's see how we go. Let's push through these. I'm going to turn it on and make sure it's going first. All good. Get rid of that. Okay. That's what we just cut. Looks pretty cool. Now, I have to do the next one. Now, Cole likes you to do your first cut up against the red end of the stops. And that's fine. It's his jig. You do what he tells you to. Beautiful. So this is going to, you like that, Cole? Thanks, buddy. Okay, see how the dust extraction is working really well when you leave the throat open. There's a little bit kicking around, but it's not really much. You saw big dollops go down, and down inside there is nice and clean. All right, this is I'm going to do 2 more. Won't take long, maybe 5 minutes, and then we'll do the pins. So now's the time. Get a drink if you want to. Get yourself a coffee while I'm doing the last parts. Here we go. Doing that little bit of a clearance is important. One more on this one. Now the last time I did this, I pulled this out and flipped it over. Don't do it. You pull it out, rotate it 180 degrees, right to left. Now that I've got it here again, face mark to the edge, push it up against this end and put that clamp on nice and tight to start, and then the one at the other end, making sure that it's down all the way, which it is. Here we go again. Okay, that's all the dovetail stuff. Now you've probably heard a couple of clunks. This is the back. There's no tear out. It's gone well, both sides. When do you decide to change the backing board on the jig? When it starts really stuffing up. Okay, now I've got to pull this guy out, so now I'm safe again. Take these off and take this guy out. All right, unlock it. Yeah, this lift is great, really nice. Raise it up. Everything from above the table. That's good. That's how I do it one-handed. I might do a little video on it. There we go, spring-loaded. Remember what I said? Put it in the same packet it came from, and that way down. And then it's not going to cut you when you get it out. Now the straight cutter. And there's a tiny little bit of oil that I put on this last night, just on that bearing. That's turning beautifully. Keep it clean. Okay, down and then tighten up. Got to have that on the other side, of course, David. Spin around to that side. Lovely. Down and tighten. Gotcha. Down there. Spin the jig around. Take the clamps out. And we're going to be doing the pins. Now, on this side, the pins are this style, right? They're going to go in between the dovetails, called the pins. Now, what brand of router lift does Dave have? Wally, check the video description. Now, I need to lower this down, and we're going to put the piece of timber in that we're going to be working with. Now this is a perfect example. This is a perfect example, and they'll come down here, of a thinner piece. Now this is the top of the thing that we're making. The face mark is facing to this edge. This is the back. All of the back of this unit is my reference. The reason being, the front has got that 15-degree taper on it, or it will do when I cut it. So instead of doing one large board all the way around, I didn't have the board, so I cut this off first. Now, this has got to go up against one of the stops. In this situation, it will be going up against the black stop. Face out away from you, and the edge against the stop. All right? I'll put one clamp on here, like so, but I'm not happy with just the one clamp on it. So rather than move this, don't move this. I want to use this for the wider board. So I'm just going to slide another clamp on behind, and I'm going to make sure that it is up above where the cutter is going to be. All right, get my spacer. Again, put it on top and bring it over and then wind it down until we're about 0.5 millimeter above. Now that's just going to be maybe just over a 16th or just less than a 16th for you guys in the States. So that's it, that's perfect. And lock him there again. Locked. All right, I'm going to do a quick check. How I do my check is looking at that, that's the straight cutter. Looking at this, I've got straight up and down cuts. Here, the dovetails at the back. Cole says always do the dovetail sections first and then do a test. And that's one of the reasons why I got stuck into this yesterday, because we have a test. It's only just gone half past. We're powering on. I'll have time for a quick read. I'm doing all right, am I, Cole? Thanks. See. Hey, Groove Jet. It isn't listed in the description. Okay, well, I'll do that after the show. Let me finish the show and I'll do that. All right. Muffs on. These things go over your glasses if you're an old person like me. And I'm going to turn the router on to just a test before I attack it with the jig. Yep. Going well. This time we're going to go across the face. Where are we? Yeah, I'm going to go this one first. Put those back on. Okay. I had a slight malfunction there. What was that from? I need to put it back in. I've got a little lip there. I must have had something caught on the jig. There you go. What happened there? I'll show you. It's a good idea just to check things before you stop. Just here is a tiny lip. Can you see it? I reckon there was something caught on the jig. So I'm going to put it back in the jig. Hasn't gone anywhere. This is the great thing about this jig. You can return something to it. Just as long as everything else hasn't been moved, it's going to do it well. Good. Yep. There was a tiny dag there. I'm going to take this out, and I think I've got a little dag on the bearing. There you go. Any timber that's got a little bit resiny, keep your eye out for that. Have you had that happen, Cole? It moved during the clamp up. Let me have a look. Don't know. I think we'll be okay. Let's have a look, see what happens. This part here. Yep. There was a little dag on the bearing. And now it's gone. See that? Perfect. I'm going to check it in a piece that I've already dovetailed. So that's B to B. Let's see how it goes. No, must be going to that end. That's upside down, of course. That's why it wasn't working. So that's B, face out that way. That's B, face out that way. Let's see. Well, I think that's pretty damn sexy. What do you think about that? That's brilliant. And that gap there is because of the part we're going to be planing off later on. So I can push it down. Beautiful, isn't it? I love it. All right, the last part to do are the pins. Yeah, Cole, that's all that was. I'll pull that out again. Was there was a little dag, and there's another one right there on the bearing. And so when I put it in against the bearing slows down, and then the bearing rolls along the edge of the template, and it just bumped that last little bit. I'm pretty happy with that. Actually, I'm glad that I discovered that. All right, this one we're putting in and up against the, get in there, get in there, get in there. Nothing to do with the jig, that's just me countering the height of this thing. It's 4 feet tall. If you enjoy these things, give me a thumbs up. Doesn't hurt. Let other people know as well. Give me a second. I need to have a look at something here. 104 people. Lovely. Yeah. Click like, subscribe. Why not? Okay, I've got the one lot of pins left to do. All the dovetails are done. And then we glue it together. Here we go. Now, one thing that I will tell you, at the end here, I don't have my fingers right around here because if the cutter grabs, I don't want to be dragged in. So I'm holding around, I've got it firmly here. I've got my wrist down here on the table, so I'm controlling from here. And thumb over the top. This is right on the end. When I get further in, I'll change position. Like now. So I'm going to do a pass across the front till I'm in the middle of it. Right across, then I'm going to go all the way down the right hand side, across the back, and then back out to the front, and then a quick clear, turn it around this way. Let's see how that looks. I'm going to give it one more clear in there. Won't take long. Done. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Yeah, so what was happening there, right at the, with this timber, pine is a resiny timber, and it was a tiny little bit was catching on the fingers on the template. I'll show you. You can see it just in here. Now, a lot of timbers, that's not going to happen, but it's something to be aware of, no matter what kind of dovetail template you use. If it's relying on a bearing, you keep your eye open for it. Okay, I'm going to take it back over there. First thing I'm going to do is get rid of that, unlock this, and drop this down so I don't catch myself on it. Done. Out of the way. These two. And that one. Here we go. Toothbrush, Cole. You were saying toothbrush. Give me a second. Cole, I need to pay you, do I? Are you going to, with the wooden spoon? Looks at the colour. It'll be right. Yes. Okay, Nate, that's fine. Morning, Ash, how are you? Toothbrush group, yes, Cole, on my third, for cleaning the template. Okay, thanks, Cole. The dust collection at the router table. Go back and have a look at the video I did on the 6-inch dust collection system. I'll show you all of that. Ian, it's a great jig. It's so easy. Even Muggins here can use it. By the clock on the wall, it's almost lunchtime. Well, it's 11:45. Let's get this thing glued out. Is the sound coming through better this week? I've increased the volume in some software, so hopefully it's going well. I don't get to hear it while I'm doing it. All right, glue up time. Glue up time. Should I glue it together without actually trying it? I think I will. I'm a bit naughty, aren't I? Okay, so all of my joints are labelled. A, D, B, A, B, C, D, and C. Now I have to make sure that they're all facing out. All right. Now, to do this, I don't need to sand this because this is all inside a box that's never going to be opened. All right. Sound is good. Good. Excellent. Excellent. Some people were complaining that it was too quiet. So when they finished watching this and something else had come on after it, or there an ad had come on after it, blaring away, and it'd be a big change. So I have to make sure they're all facing out and all of the face and edge mark are pointing the same direction. And I will now put some glue on. I know there's going to be people out there going to be saying, you'll be sorry, you'll be sorry. Well, maybe, maybe not. To do the gluing, I'm going to use a board. Squeeze a bit of glue on there. I'm using the Type 1-3 because it's got the best open time. I'll put some there on there, and using a brush. Now Cole's suggestion was you only put the glue on the outside, and I think that's a great idea. So I'm going in halfway. Because the dovetails are a mechanical joint. It only needs for it to register, hold it still, and the joint will swell a little bit as you put the glue on. And that could be a problem, but I think we'll be okay. Have a look at that side, so I make sure that I've got glue where it should be. Yes. Yeah, I think Cole was panicking a little bit this morning when he realised I was doing some stuff with his jig. Don't you stuff it up. Okay, I'll work from this side. This is the outside, correct. It's easy if you work from one reference all the time. If you're working from the outside, as you push the joint together, it's not going to push anything towards the inside of the joint, obviously. It's going to push it out. So you won't have all those issues that you need blue tape for. I don't know why I'm doing all of these, because I've only got a skinny one going on one side, haven't I? David. Well, let's try it. Let's try it. C to C, which is this one and this one. Stand it up and give it a bit of a tap. How good does that look? Then we'll be doing B, which is this one. I'll slide that in straight away. Give me a sec. Done. Sometimes you can be lucky. I'll move that over there for the moment, and we'll put the glue on the last one. Remember, we're going to glue the outside. It makes a difference. Quality cutters, quality jig, and there you go. All right, so glue is going, that's going to the outside down there. That is A. I'm sure that one down there, no, that's A down there, good. Okay, so this one only needs glue in this area here. So we'll be a bit smart this time. And on the outside. Nope. Let me see it. This way, this way. That's A, D, D. Okay. B, C. All good. All good. I was confused for a second. It's not hard. I'm sure I'm not the only person. But as you're putting something together, you think, is that right? Yes, yes, yes. All good. And then it's this one. Right, this one. I was basically looking at trying to economize on glue, and I was thinking to myself just then, why? Why would you even bother, David? We're looking at what, 3 cents maybe for the glue that I'd be saving? Nearly done. I think I might have dispensed the correct amount. All right, over here. We'll turn it up the other way. And then I can actually see that's D. And that, I think that will go this way. All of those marks there. Slightly tighter, but that's okay. And then this one. All right. All right. I'm going to put a clamp across the bottom for a minute because the timber's got a slight bow. I just don't want it mucking me around. So I'll put the clamp there and pull it in very, very close to where the dovetails are. I need to... I've got to take it off the Stanton bench for a second because it's almost exactly the same length. And what's happening, the clamps are dropping. Where are we? Right, clamp there, and another one beside it. Like so. I'll drop it in there. It's in all the way to right beside where the joint is. The further into the middle, the more trouble you're going to have. Oh, that's beautiful. Give it a tap. You can hear it pulling it up. And then this one I'm going to move all the way to the front. And pull it up tight there. So that's perfect, and it's perfect down the other end. Yes. And I'm going to put another clamp across the top because, as I said, we were getting that slight bow. Looking down there. All right. Have a quick read. Okay. They're nice looking boards. What speed? This is just radiata pine. It's working well. I can, yep, like Lego. Watch, good work, David. Impressed. Good one, David. Here with the boat on the hard, Wallingford, Connecticut. G'day, David. How are you? Check for square. I'm just about to do that, so I'll use the triangle. Let's go to Carl Cam. So you can see it here. It's just ever so slightly. We'll give it a bit of a thump. I'm maybe a millimetre out over here. What's it like over here? And I'm a millimetre out there as well. I know what it is. It's the boards. The boards are deflecting because I've got the clamps on them. So now I can just release the pressure ever so slightly. And that should, so what the clamps are doing now, they're just holding it in place. They're not going to start bending anything. I'm checking that I don't have any gaps on the joints at all. That's better. Let's see what it's like now. Oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The jig is brilliant. 12 o'clock on the knocker. Let's go to the other camera. So what do you think about them apples? So my plan now is to cut a diagonal from here up to here. And that's going to, this is the top of the unit, remember. So it's going to be up against the wall. I'll put a French cleat in down here as well. So I'll go to the other camera so that you can see. So down here, there'll be a French cleat in here. Comes right the way across. And one on the wall, of course. And then I will draw a line from here up to here. And I will create a frame in behind here as well for this board to drop into. So remember, that's what it's all about, is this board there. I'll go to the other camera. This is the plain till that's going to drop into it. I think it'll be a really nice result. I really don't like having, I know it's a first world country problem, but I hate having tools in the tool well. I know that's what it's for, and even since I was an apprentice, tools in the tool well collected rubbish. So when you're working away, planing away at a bench or cutting, sawdust and everything goes in, you always had to take everything out to clean it off. Even to the stage where one of the benches that I built for myself, at the end, up near the vise, the leg vise, I used to have a piece of timber that I'd sit my planes on so to keep the blades up. You know, it was an old world story. And I made mine so it's rotated in the middle. So I had a pin in the middle and I'd spin it sideways and I could sweep everything off, dustpan, throw it in it and turn it around the other way, drop all the planes back in. So there you go. I think that's about it. I don't know what we're going to do next week. I will probably get this all in during the week and possibly even get it finished. I have started finishing the thing with Whittles wax, but I ran out, so I've got to get some more tomorrow. That's about it. I don't think there's anything else I need to talk about at all. Let me see where we are. Patrons meeting. If you want to support me on Patreon, that'd be fantastic. Links in the description box down the bottom. You can join with a few other people that do that, and I appreciate it very, very much. All right, reading down through here. Lovely job. Thanks, Terence. The operator is good as well. Dave, almost completed project. What is the best address to send to your comment? Ron, my email is in the description box down the bottom there. Just send it to davestantonfans@gmail.com. That'd be great if you could. We didn't have anyone here. Why not do 2-hour show, Matthew? Because no one would hang around, mate. No one would hang around. All right. I think that's it. Going over here. Close the show video. Look after yourselves. Be nice to each other. And I'll see you next week. Patrons meeting just in a second.